Chapter 1. Dr. Dolittle has to earn some money. Dr. John Dolittle lived in a small town called Puddleby. Everyone in town knew him. The dogs and children ran after him. He lived in a small house, but he had a large garden. He kept many animals in his garden. His favorite animals were Dab-Dab, a duck, Jip, a dog, Gub-Gub, a baby pig, Polynesia, a parrot, and Tutu, an owl. He also kept some fish, rabbits, mice, a squirrel, a hedgehog, a cow and a baby cow, a horse, chickens, pigeons, 2 lambs, and many other animals. Dr. Dolittle did not have many patients. Most people did not like all his animals. When they were ill, they went to a doctor in another town. "I don't care," Dr. Dolittle told his sister. "I like animals better than people."
"But you don't have any money,"
his sister told him.
"You need patience."
"I have a patient," Dr. Dolittle answered. "The cat's meat man. He's the man who sells me meat for the cat."
"He doesn't pay you enough to live on,"
his sister told him. "Then I'll sell everything I have," he said. And he did. He sold most of his furniture. He sold most of his clothes. He had enough money to buy food for himself and his animals. One day, the cat's meat man said to him, "Why don't you stop being a doctor for people and become a doctor for animals instead? You know a lot about animals, more than most vets, I'm sure. You wrote a wonderful book about cats. I'd send all the old women with sick dogs or cats to you." When the cat's meat man left, Polynesia the parrot flew onto the table.
"What? He's right, doctor,"
Polynesia said.
"You should become an animal doctor."
"There are a lot of vets," Dr. Dolittle said.
"Perhaps there are, but you'd be the best vet of all. I'm not the only animal that can talk. All the animals can talk. Each kind of animal has its own language, Brock. I'll teach you mine if you like."
"Yes, please," Dr. Dolittle said. He opened a drawer and took out a notebook and pencil. "Will you teach me the parrot's ABCs first?" he asked. Polynesia agreed to teach Dr. Dolittle parrot language. Later that day, Jip came into the room. Polynesia said,
"He's talking to you, doctor."
"I don't think he is," Dr. Dolittle said. "He's just scratching himself."
"Dogs talk with their ears, their noses, and their tails,"
Polynesia told him.
"They don't always make a noise. Do you see how he is now moving his nose?"
"Yes."
"He is telling us that it has stopped raining, and he wants to ask you a question. Brock?"
Every day, Dr. Dolittle learned the languages of the animals. When people found out he was now an animal doctor, they brought their pets to him. One day a horse said to him,
"You're a much better animal doctor than the vet. You knew I couldn't see well, and you made glasses for me."
The horse was very pleased. He could see very well. He told all his friends how clever Dr. Dolittle was, and they told all their friends. Soon, many animals came to see him. He had a different door for each animal, and he wrote the name of each kind of animal above the doors: horses, cows, sheep. Before long, every animal that lived in or near Puddleby became the doctor's patients. He was very happy, and he liked his life very much. Chapter 2. Dr. Dolittle's sister gets married. Dr. Dolittle now had so many patients that he was making money again. His sister was very pleased. Some of the animals who came to see him were very sick. They had to stay with him for a week. When they were well, they often did not want to go away. He got more and more pets. There were animals everywhere. They sat on chairs on the grass. One day a man brought a monkey to see Dr. Dolittle. The doctor saw immediately that the monkey's collar was too tight and that he was dirty and unhappy. The doctor gave the man some money for the monkey and told him to go away. Another time, a circus came to town. A crocodile came to see the doctor. It had a toothache. The doctor made the tooth better. The crocodile did not want to go back to the circus. It asked the doctor if it could live in the fish pond in the garden. "You can live there if you don't eat the fish, and if you don't bite any of the animals." The crocodile agreed. However, everyone in town was afraid of it. They stopped bringing their sick animals to the doctor.
You must send the crocodile away.
His sister told him. "But he hasn't bitten anyone," the doctor answered.
People think he will bite them. That's enough to prevent them from coming to see you.
The doctor spoke to the crocodile. It began to cry. It didn't want to leave.
If you don't send that animal away,
his sister told him,
I shall go away and get married.
"All right," answered the doctor. "Go and get married." This is what his sister did. Now the doctor was alone in the house, except for the animals. He was also very poor again. He had no patience.
We must all help you.
Polynesia said.
We will all do some work around the house.
They did the housework and grew vegetables in the garden, but there was no money to buy anything. When winter came, there was nothing left to eat. There was no wood for a fire. Dr. Dolittle and all his animals were very cold and hungry. Chapter 3. Sick Monkeys in Africa. Dr. Dolittle and his pets were sitting in the living room when the door suddenly opened. Chi-Chi the monkey ran in.
"Doctor,"
he cried.
"something very bad has happened. All the monkeys in Africa are very sick. They have heard of you. Can you go to Africa and cure them of their disease?"
"How do you know this?" Dr. Dolittle asked.
"A bird has flown from Africa with the news."
Chi-Chi answered. "I'm happy to go to Africa," the doctor said, "but I don't think I have any money to buy any tickets. Look in my money box, Chi-Chi." The monkey climbed onto the shelf where the doctor kept his money box. He looked inside.
"The box is empty, doctor,"
he said. "Perhaps someone will give us a boat for a short time," the doctor said. "I cured a sailor's baby of a disease last year. Maybe the sailor will help us." The next morning, the doctor went to the sea and spoke to the sailor.
"I'll be happy to lend you my boat,"
the sailor said. When the doctor told the animals this news, they were very happy. They all wanted to go with him to Africa. "I'm sorry," he said, "but this trip will be very difficult. I cannot take all of you. I can take only Jip, Dab-Dab, Gub-Gub, and Tutu."
You must take food and water with you.
Polynesia said.
I have been on long sea journeys, and I know what they are like, brah.
And so the doctor and his pets got ready to sail to Africa. "I must ask the sailor how to get there," the doctor said.
I know the way.
The bird said.
Just follow me.
They all got into the boat, and the journey began. Chapter 4. The Journey to Africa. The journey to Africa took 6 weeks. Not all the animals enjoyed it. The weather was too hot for the pig and the owl. Then there was a bad storm. The boat was difficult to steer. Suddenly it hit a rock. Water began coming into the ship. "We must have damaged the boat," the doctor said. Then he ordered Dab-Dab the duck to swim under the boat. "Find out where the water is coming in," he said. Dab-Dab swam under the boat. She soon found a big hole in the bottom of the boat. She swam back to the top of the boat.
There's a big hole in the bottom,
she said. "The boat is sinking fast," the doctor said. "We must swim for the shore."
"We don't know how to swim,"
Chi-Chi and Gub-Gub cried. "I know what to do," the doctor said. He found a long piece of rope. He tied one end to part of the boat. He gave the other end to Dab-Dab. "Fly with this rope to the shore," he said. "Find a tree and tie the rope to the tree. Chi-Chi and Gub-Gub can hold on to it as they pull themselves to the shore." Soon, they were all on the shore. They found a cave. Polynesia was so happy that she cried. Her home was in Africa. "We'll stay in this cave until the storm is over," the doctor suggested. Then he felt his hat come off his head. "Where's my hat? The wind has blown it off," he said.
"I'll go and look for it,"
Dab-Dab said. She soon found the hat. It was floating in the sea. There was a mouse in it.
"What are you doing in that hat?"
Dab-Dab asked the mouse.
"I was hiding on the boat. I didn't want to be left behind. When you all left the boat, I didn't know what to do. I can't swim. Then I saw the doctor's hat. I got into it so I could be safe. It's my little boat."
Back on shore, a man came out of the jungle and walked to the cave.
Who are you?
He asked the doctor. "I am Dr. John Dolittle," the doctor answered. "I have come to Africa to cure the sick monkeys."
You must come and meet the king,
the man said.
He will tell you what to do.
The doctor and his animal friends followed the man into the jungle. Chapter 5. An Angry King. They soon came to the king's home. It was made of mud. The king was not pleased to see them.
"Many years ago," he said, "a man like you came here. He killed all the elephants and took their ivory tusks away. Never again shall a man like him travel in my lands."
To some men standing nearby, he said,
"Take this man and his animals and lock them up."
The doctor and the animals were very unhappy in the prison. "I don't know what to do," the doctor said.
"I do,"
a voice said. It was Polynesia. "How did you get in here?" the doctor asked her.
"I hid under your long coat. I'm small enough to get through the bars of that window. Be patient. I'll find a way to make the king let you all out. Remember that although I am only a bird, I can talk like a man."
That night, Polynesia flew out of the prison. She flew to the king's palace and into his bedroom. She flew under the bed on which he was asleep. He was alone in bed because the queen was visiting some friends. Polynesia coughed. The king woke up.
"Is that you, Ermintrude?"
This was the queen's name.
"No, I am Dr. Dolittle,"
Polynesia said in a voice just like the doctor's.
"Get out of my bedroom!"
the king shouted.
"Where are you? I can't see you."
Polynesia just laughed. Then she said,
"I have many powers. There is nothing I cannot do. I can cure people. I can make them ill. Send your soldiers to open the door of the prison."
The king gave the order to release the doctor and the animals right away. As Polynesia was coming out from under the bed, the queen came into the room. She saw the bird fly away through the window.
"You have been tricked by a talking parrot,"
she told the king. He was very angry and tried to stop his soldiers from opening the prison door. But he was too late. The doctor and all his animals were free. Chapter 6. The Land of the Monkeys. The king was very angry when he heard that the doctor and his animals had been freed. He sent his soldiers into the jungle to catch them. Luckily, Chi-Chi knew a hiding place that no one else knew about. The doctor and his animals hid there until the soldiers were tired and went back to the palace.
"We must go to the land of the monkeys,"
Chi-Chi said.
"We'll be safe there."
He led the way, and he and Polynesia found food for them all to eat. It was a long way to the land of the monkeys, and Gub-Gub got very tired. Every night, they had to rest. Chi-Chi helped them to pass the time by telling them stories about his monkey friends and family. Before long, they met a large monkey, and he carried Gub-Gub because the pig could not move fast enough. The doctor and his animals did not know it, but the king had sent his soldiers out again, and they were following them. They soon caught up with them. When the big monkey saw a soldier coming toward them, he shouted,
"Run, for your lives!"
and the doctor and his animals ran as fast as they could. Soon they reached a river.
The land of the monkeys is on the other side of the river,
Chi-Chi told them.
"We must make a bridge,"
the big monkey said. There were lots of monkeys on the other side of the river. The big monkey shouted to them,
"Make a bridge, boys, as quick as you can."
The monkeys climbed up trees, and then they held hands and swung across the river. The monkeys made a bridge. They were happily waving leaves and swinging out of the branches to say, "Hello."
"Quickly,"
the big monkey said.
"Walk across the bridge of monkeys."
Dr. Dolittle and his animals quickly walked across the bridge. The doctor was the last one to cross. When they got to the other side, the big monkey said to the doctor,
"You are the first person ever to see the monkeys make a bridge like that."
The doctor felt very pleased. Chapter 7. Sick Monkeys. There were many sick monkeys, and Dr. Dolittle was very busy curing them. He separated the sick monkeys from the well ones. He gave shots to all the monkeys that were well so that they wouldn't get sick. Then he asked them to build a house and make beds for all the sick monkeys. He put all the sick monkeys in this house. "I need more nurses," he said. "Ask other animals in the jungle to come and help." At first, the other animals did not want to help. The king of the lions said with a roar,
"I'm not going to nurse monkeys."
The doctor tried hard not to seem afraid of him. He said, "One day you may be ill. Then you will want someone, even a monkey, to nurse you." The king of the lions just roared again and went away. That night, one of his children felt sick.
He won't eat.
The queen lioness said to the king of the lions,
You must do something.
"There's nothing I can do."
The king of the lions said,
"A lot of monkeys are sick too. Do you know, there's a man who asked me to nurse them. He's some kind of doctor. Ha! I told him that lions didn't nurse other animals."
The queen lioness was very angry.
That was a stupid thing to say,
She said,
Go back to him and ask him to come and cure our baby. Tell him you'll help nurse the monkeys and take some other animals with you.
He did as he was told. Many of the animals helped to nurse the sick monkeys, and they were soon well. The doctor was very tired now and needed to rest. Chapter 8. A Strange Present. The monkeys were very grateful to the doctor. When he told them he had to go home to Puddleby, they wanted to give him a present. "You are very kind," he said. "Perhaps there is an unusual animal who would like to come home with me." The monkeys knew of such an animal. It was a push-me-pull-you. It was like a cow, but it had a head at each end.
How does it make up its mind?
The duck wondered. Chi-Chi said,
You owe a lot of money in Puddleby. Take the push-me-pull-you home, and people will pay to see it. You'll soon make a lot of money.
This seemed a good idea to the doctor, so he agreed. They left the land of the monkeys and started walking toward the sea. "When we get there," the doctor said, "we must find a way to make a boat." Before they had gone very far, however, the king's soldiers came out from behind some trees where they had been waiting. They took the doctor and his animals back to prison. "Now what are we going to do?" the doctor wondered. "We are back where we started." Luckily, Polynesia flew away before the soldiers could take her, and Chi-Chi was able to climb a tree and then move away from tree to tree. Polynesia flew into the king's garden where Prince Bumpo, the king's son, was reading. Chi-Chi came too.
What? I'm going to hypnotize the prince,
Polynesia said.
I'll put him to sleep and then tell him to do things when he wakes up.
She put a small branch in her mouth and flew in front of him. She waved it back and forth. The prince watched the branch move. He soon fell asleep. Polynesia spoke quietly into his ear.
A very famous doctor and his friends are locked in your father's prison. When you wake up, make a boat for them and then set them free. Say nothing to your father.
The prince did as Polynesia told him, and soon they were free and getting into a boat. Gub-Gub, Polynesia, and Tutu stayed behind. They had returned home to their land. They stood on the shore crying and waving until the boat was out of sight. Chapter 9. The Journey Home. When the boat was near Barbary Coast, Jip, the dog, began talking in his sleep.
I smell bad men,
He said softly.
very bad men. They will attack us.
How can he smell bad men? The doctor asked. The nearest ship is 15 kilometers away.
Dogs can smell things farther away than that.
Dab-Dab said. And he was right. Jip could smell pirates. Their ship was getting closer and closer. The pirate ship is faster than ours, the doctor said. What can we do?
I'll talk to the birds.
Dab-Dab said. She flew into the sky and spoke to the birds. Then she flew back to the boat.
They'll pull our boat.
She told the doctor.
We need lots of very thin rope.
Before long, thousands of birds were pulling the boat through the water. Now the boat was moving faster than the pirate ship. The boat made it safely to an island. A rat came up to talk to the doctor.
My friends and I are leaving this boat.
He said.
As you know, rats always leave a sinking boat, and this one will sink very soon. It's not a good boat.
The rat and his friends left the boat. The doctor and his friends left the boat too. They went to find food and water on the island. While they were away, the pirates sailed into the bay. They left their own ship and went onto the doctor's boat. They were looking for things to steal. The push-me-pull-you, who had a head at each end, saw what was happening.
The pirate ship is better and faster than ours.
He told the doctor.
Let's sail away on it while the pirates are on our boat.
The doctor thought this was a good idea, and soon he and his animals were sailing away from the island on the pirate ship. As soon as the pirates saw this, they began to sail after the ship. They were able to move ahead of the ship.
Oh, what can we do?
Dab-Dab cried.
The pirates will eat me and all the other animals.
Just then, the boat the pirates were on began to sink. The pirates were all in the water. Sharks began swimming toward them. The doctor shouted to one of the sharks. I want to talk to you before you start eating the pirates. The sharks came up to the doctor's ship. I am Dr. Dolittle, he said. I want you to stop the pirates from swimming to the land, but I don't want you to eat them. The leader of the sharks said,
We have heard of you, Doctor. We will do as you ask.
The doctor shouted at the pirates. Who is your leader?
I am.
A man said.
My name is Ben Ali.
If you will promise to stop being pirates, I will tell the sharks not to eat you. The doctor said. You must become farmers instead. Ben Ali agreed to do whatever the doctor asked, as long as the sharks did not eat him. The doctor told the sharks to let the pirates swim to the land. Chapter 10. Home Again. The pirate ship was full of beautiful things. They stole them, I'm sure, the doctor said. Then, as they sailed away from the island, the push-me-pull-you said,
I can hear a noise. It is coming from behind that door.
Then Jip came up to the door.
Shh! Listen, I do believe there is someone in there,
he said. The door was locked. The doctor found an axe and broke down the door. There was a small boy inside the room.
My father and I were fishing.
The boy said.
The pirates sank our boat. They left my father on a small island and locked me up here.
We'll try to find your father, the doctor said. There were some dolphins swimming near the ship. Do you know where this boy's father is? He asked.
Yes,
replied one of the dolphins.
We saw the pirates sink his ship and put him on an island. We'll take you to it.
The dolphins led the way to the island. The doctor and Jip went on land. They soon found the boy's father. He was asleep under a tree. They woke him up and took him back to the ship with them. Then the boy's father told them how to find his village on another island. The people who lived in the fishing village were very thankful to the doctor and his animals for saving the boy and his father. They gave them presents. Then they pointed the ship toward Puddleby, and they all set sail again. When they reached land, the doctor said, I don't want to go home to Puddleby yet. We need to make some money. I'm going to sell the pirate ship. With the money I get for it, I'm going to buy a wagon. We'll join a circus and travel to many places, with it showing people the push-me-pull-you. This is what they did. The doctor sat in a chair in front of the wagon and took the money from all the people who wanted to see the two-headed animal. When he had enough money to pay for everything he owed, he sold the wagon and went home. Everyone was pleased to see him again. Even the animals he left behind were happy to see him. Jip raced around the garden looking for old bones he had put underground. The doctor completed his payments and still had money left for the future. Money can be a problem, he said, but it's nice not to have to worry about it. Playlet, Dr. Dolittle's second adventure. We've been home for a year. Shall we go on another journey?
I'd like to. I'm tired of staying at home. I want to see new places, smell new smells.
What about you, Polynesia? What do you want to do?
What? I don't want to go to Africa again. We had a lot of trouble there. Can we go to another place?
I'm sure we can. What do you want to do, Dab-Dab?
Oh, I'm happy here. I can't fly very far, and I like to swim in the pond every day.
Gub-Gub?
I don't really care where we go if there was always a lot to eat.
Then I will decide. But first, tell me this. Shall we stay in England or go to another country?
I'd like to go to another country where the smells are different.
I don't mind. You decide.
How will we go? By ship again?
I like ships.
If we stay in England, I'll get another wagon, and our horse Nene can pull it. If we go to another country, perhaps we can fly. There are aircrafts now. I'll hold my finger over the globe like this. Where my finger is pointing, when the globe stops spinning, is where we'll go.
That's no good, Doctor. Your finger is pointing to the middle of the sea. There isn't any land near it.
I'll spin the globe again.
Your finger is pointing to England.
Yes, it is. And it's pointing to London.
Can we go and see the Queen? She's got 2 dogs.
And lots of horses.
Perhaps she has some birds as well, bruh.
I hope she doesn't eat pork.
Or roast duck.
I'm sure she doesn't. We'll be very safe. It's decided then. We'll go to London. I'll buy a wagon tomorrow. Hand me my medicine box, Polly. I may need it.
Here you are, Doctor. Do you have all the medicine you need?
I hope so, but there is a big zoo in London. There will be hundreds of different animals in it. I may not have the right medicine for all of them.
Perhaps they won't need any medicine.
You're right, Jip. I'm sure they are all well looked after. Now, do you all have everything you need?
Yes, Doctor. Where's the push-me-pull-you? Are we going to take him?
If he wants to come, he can walk with Nene and help him pull the wagon.
He'll be able to see what's coming from behind.
That could be useful. It's always a good thing to know what is behind us. Good morning. I'm Dr. John Dolittle.
He's the famous animal doctor.
I've come to see the Queen. She has some dogs, I believe.
She has, but she doesn't need another animal doctor. She has her own vet. He's the most famous vet in England.
What? He may be the most famous vet in England, but Dr. Dolittle is the most famous animal doctor in the whole world.
I'm sorry, but I can't let him see the Queen. He must have her permission to see her. You must write her and get her permission.
I understand. Perhaps I'll do that.
Let's go to the zoo, Doctor. I'm sure you can be useful there. Brrr.
I'm Dr. John Dolittle, the animal doctor.
Good morning, Doctor. What can I do for you?
I've come to help any sick animals.
The zoo has its own vets, Doctor.
I know, but I can do things vets cannot do. I can talk to the animals, and I can understand their language.
No one can do that, Doctor.
You must believe me. Let me speak to one of the vets.
Is this the vet's room? This is the gate. I've got a Dr. Dolittle here. He says he is an animal doctor, and he can talk to animals and understand their language. Can he come in and see you? He can? Right. I'll let him in. You can go in. The vet's room is at the end of the path. One of the zoo vets is waiting for you.
I've heard about you, Dr. Dolittle. I'm very pleased to meet you. Perhaps you can help me. I have a sick elephant. I don't know what's wrong with it.
Let me talk to him.
Come this way.
It's quite simple. He's lonely. Is he the only elephant here?
I'm afraid so. We had another one, but she was very old. She died last year.
Get another elephant. Get one the same age as your elephant. He'll soon be better.
Thank you, Doctor. Can you stay here for a while?
I can, but I need a place for my animals to stay.
We can find you a place. There's so much for you to do here.
I'll tell my friends. We're going to stay here for a while. There's a lot of work for me to do.
That's wonderful. There are lots of ducks here for me to play with.
Are there any pigs here?
I'm sure there are.
There are lots of parrots. I can hear them.
There are only wild dogs. I hope they're friendly. I'm happy to stay here for a while.
I'm sure more people will come to the zoo if I'm here.
I don't mind where we stay, as long as I can sleep.
It's decided then. We'll stay at the zoo for a while.